Hello, everyone. Good evening. I trust we're doing very, very well today. Welcome, everyone, to today's edition of Embark Spotlight Show. Are we excited? If you're excited, please put in your favorite emoji in the chat. I want to see everyone go excited, be excited. If you're looking forward to learning something amazing today, because trust me, we have a lot in store for you today. So if you're excited, I want to see your favorite emoji going up in the chat. I can't see you guys all. I want to see everyone. Your favorite emoji. Hello, everyone. Hi, Wumi Hairline. Welcome. Is it just Wumi that's here? I want to see every other person. Hi, Olusoji. How are you doing today? Hello, everyone. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Hi, Victor. Hello. Let's keep it coming. More people. More people. Okay, Soji again. Soji seems like the most excited person on the live stream today. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Welcome everyone. My name is Priscilla and I am privileged to host for today. And we have something very special coming up on, the session today. And I'm just going to be reading his bio just to get us, have us understand the wealth of knowledge that is coming today. All right. I'll tell you the name of the person after I read the bio. So I'm going to try as much as possible to not say the name. So at the end I'll then mention his name. Are we excited? All right. So our speaker for today is a tech entrepreneur, an entrepreneurship coach, and a business leader with 2 decades of industry experience. He's a powerful force driving change in the educational landscape in Africa. He holds a bachelor degree in computer science from the University of Ilorin, a master's degree in technology management from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and an MBA from the Quantic School of Business and Technology, USA. His entrepreneurial journey began with the launch of his first startup, Dustler Creation. This was just before gaining admission into the university, a bold decision that set the stage for a life dedicated to innovation, leadership, and service. At the university, he co founded IT Vessel, which later on metamorphed into Edves. As the co founder and COO at Edves, he leads operations and drives revenue growth. A dynamic and strategic executive, he built Edves's sales force and expanded its presence to various African markets. Leveraging his exceptional negotiation skills, he has infused financial resilience into budgeting and successfully led initiatives into sales, marketing, customer relations, project management, um, product management. Under his leadership, Edves has grown to over 500,000 users across 12 African countries and the United Kingdom and has received numerous global and local awards. Are we excited about this person? Everyone. So Edves has been recognized for its innovative contribution to the edtech ecosystem. In 2016, Edves was accepted into the CC Hub Intel Growth Academy in Lagos and won Asovilla Grant organized by the Office of the Vice President of Nigeria in collaboration with the World Bank. In 2018, he secured a British Council Abuja grant and won the Seed Star Global EdTech Award for emerging markets in Switzerland. In 2018, our speaker became a fellow of the Jacob Foundation in Switzerland and a 2019 SIDSTAR alumnus. In 2019, he became a Mindset Go alumni in Tel Aviv, Israel. In 2022, he was named the best Nigerian EdTech startup by Eco Innovation Center. In 2024, he was innovated by the Embassy of France as a delegate to explore the French tech ecosystem and attended Viva Tech, Europe's largest technological startup event, where he was a speaker at the African Tech stage. That same year, Edves won the French Week Startup competition hosted by the Franco Nigerian Chamber of Commerce and sponsored by Zenith Bank and Air France. Over the years, our speakers traveled across Africa, America, Asia, and Europe to participate in various conferences and accelerator programs, both as a speaker and as an attendee. He believes that true leadership involves uplifting others. Having built his businesses from the ground up, he's passionate about nurturing the next generation of young African entrepreneurs. He is guided by the belief that faith and purpose should be at the forefront of everything he does. He views his entrepreneurial journey as more than a business venture for him, it's a mission to impact society positively, uplift his community, and leave behind a legacy of hope and transformation. He is happily married and takes great pride in being a loving husband and a father. Ladies and gentlemen on the stream today, let's welcome our speaker, Mr. Dare Adebayo. With our virtual hands, let's make some noise and welcome him as he comes on board. Welcome, sir. Good evening, sir. How are you doing today, sir?
Good evening. Thank you so much, Priscilla. Please confirm that you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for, being here today. We're really, really excited for, what we're going to learn today. From your bio alone, everybody knows that they're going to eat really well today. All right, so let's jump right in. So you started your first business right after secondary school at 18, long before people
Mhm,
even start thinking
mhm.
about entrepreneurship. I mean, I don't think I was thinking about or starting a business when I was 18, but you started this young. So what pushed you to start so early? And what were some of those things that you learned during that season about courage and believing in yourself?
Okay, so for me, I mean, I always want to be a solution provider. Um, I mean, if I identify a problem, I'm thinking, how can I solve this problem, right? So I didn't plan out to start my entrepreneurship journey quite early. What happened was that I identified a problem, and I just wanted to create a solution to it. Um, so that was how I started, right? And even the current business I'm doing now, I was in a school owner's office, and she was sharing our frustration with managing processes and records in the school manually. And I was like, oh, we can build something to digitize all of your school processes and records, and that's how the Edves platform came into existence. So basically, starting my journey was not, I mean, my entrepreneurship journey before entering into the university was not because I felt, oh, let me create a buzz or let me create a story around myself. It was just because I was waiting to gain admission into the university, and I think then I did a diploma in computer engineering while waiting for admissions. I'm that person that wants to be doing something at every point in time. I'm not that person that just wants to stay idle and be doing nothing, right? And that was how I started my first business before getting into the university.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So from this, one of some of the things that I pointed out was the fact that number one, don't stay idle. I mean, look around you, want to actually do something, right? And besides that, building wasn't really just okay, I want to build. It was from okay, I could recognize that there was a problem, and I could do something about it. So that's for all of us. So identify issues around us, identify issues around you, and then try to fix it. So my next question now is why educational technology? I mean, when people want to talk about business or starting out as an entrepreneur, this is just like one of those things that. So why this? Why this? I know that you've gone through multiple ventures, well, Edves has definitely become that defining, platform for you. So why educational technology? And when did you realize that okay, this is not just some business, this is actually long term for me?
So like I mentioned, right, it wasn't that I started out planning to, build a business around education. The first business I started, I think I was telling the story to some folks yesterday, just like creations. Um, I was doing more of event management. I mean, I even did a project. I supplied gadgets, to a school. The funny thing is that it's just coming to my mind now that the funny thing is that that first business revolved around schools. So I believe that, I mean, God has a purpose for me in education, because the first business I did was actually around schools. I was supplying gadgets. Those days when there were typewriters, schools will have
Yeah.
typewriters. I supplied typewriters to school. I managed events for schools like their Christmas party. I manage it. I'll get, all of the people they need, the DJ and what have you, manage the event. And then I did digital, I did a year CD, right? Normally when students are graduating from secondary school and primary school, they will do a yearbook that has the picture of
Yeah,
everybody, their picture in
true.
native, in English attire, their likes, their dislikes. So I thought about it that, oh, instead of having this thing on paper, paper would degrade over time, it will get torn and what have you. Can't we
True.
digitize this process? So I came up with the concept of the year CD, right? So I'll take the pictures of the students, I go with the cameraman, take their pictures, get their about information on paper, and then turn it into like a slideshow on DVD. Then, DVD
Wow.
was raining, so you just slot in the
Yes.
DVD in your DVD player, and then it comes with music. It shows the first student, shows their
Yeah.
picture, their information. It shows, and and that was what I was doing before getting into university. So while I was at the customer's office, she was discussing with someone and said, "Oh, we're finding it difficult to manage school fees payments. They have about 1,000 students. So they're finding it difficult to manage school fees payments, finding it difficult to manage the records of the students." So I was like, "Oh," and I was studying computer science in school. I was like, then I
Wow.
think I was in 300 level. I was like, "Oh, we can build an application to do this. You don't need they wanted to program Excel. I was like, we can build an application
Wow.
to do this. You don't need to program Excel to do this, right? So my co-founder, my current co-founder, I mean my co-founder, not my co-founder. We've been
True.
co-founders since then. My co-founder, you know, he had mentioned to me then that, oh guy, if you have any projects on web design, web application, I'm very good. So I discussed with him and said, oh, there's a project to make a scope process. And I'm very good with analysis, business analysis, drawing program flows and what have you. So I spoke with him and we built the first version of the product, right? I think in our 300 level, if I can remember vividly, either 200 or 300, I'm not so sure. We built the first version of the application. We built the website for the school. We built a result management system for them that also had SMS communication, email communication, the database of the students. And, after we finished university, in fact, I wasn't really thinking of starting a business after university. Myself and my co-founder were talking then, and we're like, "Oh, guy, I think God has a purpose for us in this business. Let's go all out." And of course, when we built the first version, I would be true to you. It had glitches, some issues there and there. So we went back to the school and said, "Oh, we can actually make this work. Don't pay us. Let's just to optimize it. If we get it right, then you can pay us for all the things." And we did it, it worked, they paid us. The money they paid us was what we used to open a bank account. We bought a domain name for the business. We paid a lawyer to do agreement for us. And then we also bought hosting and then we hosted our first website. That was in, I think, late 2010, 2011, early 2011. And here we are, 15 years plus after that.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's really impressive. Really. So you talked about your co-founder, and I know that
Mhm.
you've co-founded your second business together and you're still building with this same co-founder for 15 years. I mean,
Mhm.
what exactly made you choose each other initially and what kept this partnership? 15 years is a long time. So just tell us.
Yeah. So I would say alignment. It's just like a marriage. A partnership is like a marriage.
Wow.
So I mean, if you're going to get married to someone, if you're going to do business with someone, there must be alignment. Of purpose, of character, of values. Right? He's a good Christian. I'm a good Christian. We have. I mean, and I'm just not just talking about our Christians. Our values aligned. What is wrong
Wow.
in my sight is wrong in his sight, right? So it's not a matter of he thinks, oh, we can bend corners here. And I'm like, no, we can't bend corners. Or I'm saying we can bend corners. He's saying, if I'm saying we can't bend
True.
corners, to him, it's definitely saying we can't bend corners. If he says, oh, we can do it this way, trust me, he's also saying we can do it this way. Am I saying we don't have disagreements? Of course, it's impossible not to have disagreements, right? We can't always see things the same way every time. But when the core principles align, then we know that, oh, saying I want red and he wants blue is not a big deal, right? Because
Yeah.
I might want red and he wants blue. right? So alignment of purpose. And like I said, it wasn't that I intentionally said, "Oh, I like this guy, let me choose him." It was because we were going to solve a problem for a customer that needed us to automate their result process and payment process. We built the application, and afterwards we felt, "Oh, I think I want to go into full fledged into entrepreneurship." He also thinks the same way, and we prayed, and we're like, "Oh, guy, let's go together." And you know, we started with IT Vessel as a company. Then we were building different projects. We worked with Kwara State government. We worked with Federal Character Commission in Abuja. We did a project with the Kwara State government. Then with the then senior special advisor on information technology, we rebuilt the website of the state. We built like a communication application for them as well. We worked with some airlines. We built websites for them. We worked with private individuals. We did a lot of projects around tech, around web
Yeah.
development. And then in 2016, we decided that, oh, we're making a lot of progress with schools, right? Of course, we had the application for the school, also we're selling that by the
Sure.
side. And in 2016, we felt, whoa, we're making a lot of progress in education, in automating the process and digitizing the process. Why can't we be known for one thing, which is education? So we decided that, oh, we're going to rebrand, and we rebranded the name of the platform as Edves and registered a new business as Edves. And we stopped every other project that does not have anything to do with education. And as God will have it, we've been listed, I think, about 4 different years consecutively as one of the top 50 edtech companies in Africa, right? And of course, we won so many
Wow.
awards in Switzerland. We won, the category for education. It's an international, award. So many people came to compete, and we won, and we've won so many awards. So back to your question, alignment is very important. Values, we share the same values, and that has kept us going. Trust me, either in marriage or in business, you will not always agree, but if your values and you have your values aligned and you have alignment of purpose, then definitely other things like let's go left, let's go right at this particular point in time is not a big deal. And the faith, the fact that we share the same faith. So I can say, oh, the Holy Spirit ministered to me that we should do this. He knows that, oh, okay, that I speak it. Let's go this way. Or I don't think we should do this thing we're doing. I was in prayers and I feel like no, that's not what we should do. Because he understands, that he would like, okay, oh, or if he says the same thing to me, I would understand as well. Yeah, I think that answers your question. Thank you.
Fantastic. So to choose a partner, or in choosing a partner that will last, that will give you that longevity that you want in your business, you have to align in purpose, your values, and faith. Fantastic. Beautiful. So I also wanted to ask, I know that somebody probably is like, okay, or I probably tried this. I mean, we aligned with in values, we aligned in purpose, we are of the same faith, but it just didn't work out. So, would you say that what were some of those? Would you say there were some red flags in identifying, aside all of these things that you mentioned? Would you say there were some red flags that this person probably overlooked, which now made the partnership not work? Because I know of someone personally that
Hmm.
was working with someone, knew that okay, he aligned on a lot of things, but he still did out. So, what would you say could be the cause?
Um, so I mean, is like I said, partnership is like a marriage, right? It's a relationship that is like marriage, because um, patience is very important, right? Even if you align with somebody, even if you share the same faith, even if you have the same vision, the same purpose, you need to be patient, and you need to know that you cannot always have your way, right? If I think this is the way it's going to go, sometimes one person needs to say, okay, let's do it your way, right? So if even if there's alignment and you are one person that thinks that it is how I think it should be done that it must be done, there will definitely be problem with anybody you come into partnership with. There will definitely be issues. So there has to be that aspect where you need to know that it's not about who is right, it's about what is right, right? The best idea wins always. It's not Is not and let me yeah, the best idea should win always. I think that is it, right? The best idea should win always, and the interest of the business should always be the paramount thing. The interest of the business. If I think we should do something and it's not in the interest of the business, that thing goes. I mean, it's not going to fly. If my partner thinks we should do something and it's not in the interest of the business, that thing does not go. Right? So the interest of the business. Once we know that the interest of the business is the most important thing at every point in time, then trust me, and we can be patient with each other, be understanding with each other, and also prioritize. So when I say the interest of the business, it doesn't mean that we should not think about the people in the partnership, right? But anything that you
Mm,
will do that will hurt the business should not be done. But there's times that you know that, oh, at this particular point in time, we need to do this because Dari needs this, right? Or this would help Dari, right? We'll do it for Dari and forget about Dimeji. And at some point, if we say, oh, this thing is good for Dimeji, Dari, oh, Dimeji, go ahead, let's do this thing because it's good for you. So the interest of each other must also come to play. Then you must have the
mm,
interest of each other at heart. And that's why I said it's like a marriage, right?
true.
But of course, it's not. You can't say is marriage because of course sex is not involved, and maybe some other things as well. So, but the interest of each other. If you don't have the interest of that person at heart, there's no how the partnership can succeed. And if you are not ready to, play down on what you think is right, at some point, that partnership cannot succeed.
Fantastic, fantastic. So patience is core. Patience is very, very important. And you also look beyond yourself. It's not really about you. You need to focus on the business. The business is priority all the time. And also the interest of your partner. Sometimes it might not be about you. It might be what your partner needs at that point in time. So it's your ability to look beyond yourself, focus on what's important for the business at that particular time that can really help your, you know, relationship with your partner, have that longevity that you want. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. My bookmark is already full at this point, and we've barely even
You mentioned
started.
you mentioned
So,
book, and you mentioned the word book, and let me just put it out there. Even I mean, we're planning on writing a book, talking about partnership in business, and we should be launching that book.
wow.
I think in October thereabout. So watch out for the book. I'm sure it will really
Wow.
help a lot of people. Yeah.
Wow, we're really excited for that. So, everyone in the live stream at this moment, you've heard it. There's a book coming in October. So, get your money ready, get everything ready, and come and learn. There's a lot of experience. I mean, I want to keep on saying it. 15 years is a long and 15 years and growing. We can't wait for your book, sir. So earlier, sir, you mentioned that at some point Edves was, focusing on the business was focusing on fixing problems of a lot of sectors. Then you had to
Mm-hmm.
narrow it down. And I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking about it, and I was just thinking that this is similar to that typical phase at the start where startups are still trying to figure out, what they want to do, what areas they want to do before they actually start, building intentionally. So what would you
Mm-hmm.
say influenced that? What were the mindset, or what was that strategic shift that just made you and your co-founder just say, you know what? We think we figured this out a lot, or how can we move on from this? How can we scale the company and focus on, one, particular thing so we can move this company forward?
So I will say that decisions like that needs to be taken from a data point of view. For us, it was data driven and it was a strategic decision. Um, and like I said, the aspect of faith is very important. So, most times, yeah, if not all times, but let me say most times, God will not come and knock at your door and say, "This is what you should do," right? God will use, the spirit of God would direct you, right? Not necessarily by using a big voice to say, do this, do this, do this, right? But there'll be that strong impression in your heart, in your spirit man, that will let you know that this is what you need to do. So for us, it was data driven because we looked at our numbers, we looked at the numbers of customers we had at that particular point in time, and we look at the recurring revenue, right? We realized
Mm,
that yes, we were making money from doing projects with government, from doing projects with private companies. But I mean, if they pay us to build a platform, they can't possibly be paying us so much more every other year to keep the platform running. So we realized that I think we had about 60 schools then. And we realized that, oh, these 60 schools, they're actually paying us every term. This is a stable source of revenue, right? And if we're not paying attention, full focus on this thing, and we have 60 schools, that means if we pay full attention on it, we can have so many schools. And we thought about it that, oh, what do we want to be known for? Do we want to be known for that company that does everything? Or if they are
Mm,
mentioning three companies in education in Nigeria, let me say in edtech in Nigeria, in Africa, would they mention us? So we decided that, oh, let's
mm,
focus on education so that we can be known for education, so that when there's something that needs to be done in education as far as technology is concerned, they would call us. And
mm,
if there's no trying to be political or trying to be jealous or trying to be anything, I don't think it's possible to want to list three education technology companies in Nigeria and Edves will not be on that list.
wow.
I don't think it's possible, but I mean, like I said, some people can decide to come up with their list for whatever reasons, right? Because in terms of impact, I mean, we're working with government. Now we're working with state governments, for smart schools. We're working with Anambra State. We're working with Enugu State. We have about two states starting earlier in the year, early in 2026, and we're working with, I mean, top private schools in the country. So we've made that impact. We've created that result. The picture you're looking at is an exhibition we had in the United States. We're entering into the United States in 2026. So we have schools in Africa, we have in UK, we're entering into the US as well. So we've created a name for ourselves in the education sector. So like I said, it was a matter of looking at our numbers and saying, what should we focus on? So we needed to focus. We chose education, and that we want to be known for something. And I can tell you that now we're known for that thing, and God is helping us. Thank you.
Wow, fantastic. Wow. So to actually scale, first of all, you have to do your data. You have to, find out your data, know what you're doing, know what the market is saying, and involve God in what you have going on. I feel like you've emphasized this all through the course of our conversation, and it's a very important thing. I feel like it just really makes things easier because you can just pray, and there's as much as God will not put it on your lap, but it just makes things a whole lot easier. And also
Mm-hmm,
determine what you want to be known for. There's a place of knowing what you want to be known for. It helps you narrow down and it helps you scale faster. Thank you so much
mm-hmm,
for that, sir. So
mm-hmm.
now Edves has grown to like over 500,000 users. Can I have my live stream people just, put in the chat and make some noise for that? That is fantastic. So Edves has grown to over 500,000 users across multiple countries. We've made Edves has made about $1 million in revenue, and you've remained in business for over a decade in a challenging environment. Because I'm sure that there definitely is competition, for Edves. So, what would you say are some of the systems or habits or decisions basically that helped you stay resilient and relevant all this time without drop off along the way?
So the statistics you quoted are a little bit outdated. I think we are
Oh
about
wow,
maybe 700,000 users now. About the revenue, I won't
wow,
say what Let me not let me wait until we publish our data for 2025. In January, we'll give a report of, okay, this is what we did in 2025. But
wow,
I mean that $1 million is like is by the way. So in fact, currently, I think we also process school fees for schools, and the last number I checked, we've processed over $2 billion. Sorry, over two
wow,
billion. I think I can't remember the figures, but it was in billions. We processed billions of naira in school fees payment. But of course, we don't count that as revenue. I mean, that's vanity metric. But in terms of revenue, we've done way, way, way beyond that number you quoted. But like I said, in 2026, early 2026, we'll quote our numbers for 2025, as it were. So, what was the question? What did you need me to hammer on?
Okay, I wanted you to emphasize the systems and habits that have helped you stay resilient and focus all through this time without, dropping off along the way.
Oh my God. I think the most important thing is knowing where you are going to. I tell people entrepreneurship is
Mm,
tough, and it's very tough. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted.
wow.
Um, I mean, we went through a turbulent time in 2024. 2024 was turbulent. I mean, turbulent.
Wow.
On my birthday in 2024, we literally had a meeting with about 13 staff and begged them to resign. We begged them to
Wow.
resign because we had financial trouble. I mean, on my birthday, what a
Wow.
day. We begged them to resign. These were not people who were not performing. These were people who were performing, but we could not pay their salaries. And we had to beg them to resign, right? Instead of having to ho them, guy, please just resign. We'll pay you 1 month in lieu of notice, right? And that was one of the tough decisions that we had to make, and that was one of the toughest period, you know, for us in business. But of course, thank God, things are, we've passed that. We are doing well now, and what have you. And why were we in that mess? Wrong pricing, wrong pricing, wrong pricing. So, one thing that is very important is know why you are in business and focus on it. Because when the tough time comes, you will remember the reason why you're in business and you keep going. And that is not working does not mean you should quit. You if it's not working, look at why it is not working, fix why it's not working, and continue, right? Then, like I said, wrong pricing, right? Because we were trying to say, oh, people, so that people can be able to afford it, people can be able to afford it, and we had a low price. And that low price, we in fact, somebody told us that it's like you are giving somebody a Benz at the cost of a bit. I mean, that old school Beetle. You're giving them a 2020 Benz at the cost of the Beetle of that what the people some people call it Ijapa, right? So that was what we were doing. We were trying to serve everybody. So late 2024, we had to adjust our price. I mean, we literally times two the list of our price. The list plan was times two. The plan with the lowest amount of money, then we times two the price, right? And in 4 months, 6 months, we got on our side, we were able to stabilize things back, right? And it will shock you to know that the customers did not know that we begged 13 people to resign because they did not feel it. It's a different thing when people can feel it that what's happening? Their customer service is not responding again. It takes time to get them to do what have you because God was on our side. I would say that was a miracle, right? Because how can 13 people leave a company? And I think we had about maybe 50 something staff at then, and about 13 people left. But the customers did not feel it because I think that is a miracle, anyways, right? But my point is that if we looked at it and say, oh, let's even close shop or whatever because it's not working.
Mm,
I mean, during the pandemic too, there was issue because during the coronavirus pandemic, we're servicing schools. I mean, I think we've had
yeah.
a lot of things. Then when we started from Ilorin Kwara State. There was one time that most of our schools, maybe 90% of our schools were in Ilorin, and the government was owing workers. The workers could not pay school fees. The schools could not pay us.
Wow.
So it was a tough time too, right? So we had cash, we were cash trap. We just needed to re-strategize. I mean, to be frank with you, we hold salaries, so we just needed to plead with our team. You say, sometimes we sent, we just sent money to people to say, just take care of your transport for now. as at that time, just use this to take care of your transport. Uh, you know, so, but we overcame it. We realized that we need to do beyond the learning. We started, you know, positioning for Lagos. We started getting customers in Lagos. Lagos is not a civil servant state, so that issue was not there. So
Yeah.
we started getting customers in Lagos, and we started getting back on track. And this one that happened in 2024, it was because, and another very important thing is because we were coming from Ilorin. Ilorin, if you know Ilorin, Ilorin is a growing
Yes.
city, I would call it. So we were looking at the price of Ilorin to come and price in Lagos. And that's why we
Wow.
had the issue in 2024. We left
Hmm.
Ilorin in 2018 was when we got into Lagos. 6 years after, that decision haunted us. Is it 6 years
Wow.
after? Like, I don't know. 2018 to 2024, because we're pricing, would they be able to afford it? We're looking at the Ilorin mentality. So
Hmm.
sometimes I hope that helps somebody. I don't want to speak too much on that, but we were using a lorry mentality to operate in Lagos and other places, and that affected our pricing. We had to recheck our pricing in 2024, and now we're doing good. Uh, Investors are happy with us. I think about 2 weeks ago, and they were like, "Guys, you guys did well. You guys did well." In fact, for the first time in so many years, they were so proud of us because that single
Fantastic.
decision has
Wow.
put the company on a better pedestal. And what we're even targeting for 2026 is is insane in terms of numbers of revenue, but we know we can do it, right? Because we've set the right price. So I'll just say that know the reason why you're doing what you're doing and focus on it.
Yeah.
Tough times will come, but don't quit because of the tough time. Rather, what is the problem at that particular point in time? Fix that problem and keep scaling.
Fantastic. So identify what the problem is. That something is broken doesn't mean you should leave it. Fix the problem. And first of all, the I feel like the one thing that you've emphasized that will really give you that footing is knowing where you are going, knowing what the goal for you really is,
Mm-hmm,
identifying
mm-hmm,
the problem. I mean, in this case,
mm-hmm.
it was pricing, So this leads me to my next question. So I know that you're someone that invests heavily in learning. I mean, from your computer science to from above Obafemi Awolowo University to your MBA. I know that, and you many accelerators across continents. So how would you say knowledge influences or keeps you from making all of these mistakes? How important would you say knowledge and because I want to assume that there was something that I realized that okay, it, it was wrong pricing that was the issue.
Uh,
Can you say me, sir?
yeah, can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes,
So,
I can.
yeah. So that is the essence of data, right? Because we looked at ours and that we realized that we were not doing well in terms of our pricing, right? Because we have data with what it costs us an individual customer. Um, I mean, it's a whole lot of work. Where you look at your fixed cost and your variable cost and what have you, cost what it's to actually serve one customer. So we had to do that. So we had to look at what is the right price point that we're supposed to price, and we had to do a lot of financial calculations, and that helped us to be able to fix that problem. So data is very, very important. If you don't have data, if you don't track a lot of things within your company, you would have issues, right? So secondly, you mentioned the value of learning, right? um the Bible says that if it cost you all you have, get wisdom, get understanding. You cannot, I mean, your business cannot grow beyond the level of your knowledge as the founder
Wow.
or as the co-founders. You cannot build anything that can go beyond the level of your knowledge. And that is why the pathway to success is education. Education is about
Mm.
acquiring knowledge, right? I mean, we say primary school, secondary school, university, we just tiered it into different categories. But what we're doing is that we're acquiring knowledge. You cannot expect a PhD holder in business administration and a village man that is doing business. You cannot expect them to execute at the same stage, at the same level. What is the
Sure.
difference? God gave them the same brain. The difference is that the professor has acquired a lot of knowledge, and when he's speaking, when he's acting based on that knowledge. So one of the things that is very important for you as a founder is that you must be well advanced than your team in every aspect of the business, right? And that is why, partnership helps a lot in business, right? Because I cannot know everything, my partner cannot know everything. My partner focuses more on the tech aspect of things, I focus more on the business and the operations aspect of things. So in fact, when I told you that there was crisis in a Loring, I think in 2018 or 20, maybe 2016 thereabout, I think I don't think maybe we had to reduce our team to like 4 or 5 or something. My partner focused on the tech, make sure that everything was working. I focused on the business and the operation, customer service, sales, and everything. So we tell people that if anything happens, if everybody leaves us today, the company cannot go down, because my partner can sit down and make sure that the code is working. I can sit down and make sure that everything operations is working. Of course, we cannot do it
Mm.
alone at this scale, but I can say, okay, no problem. Everybody says they are going. I can say, yeah, put out application, recruit a new set of people, train them on anything they need to know about business and operation as far as the company is concerned, and they will continue. My partner can recruit new set of developers and what have you, train them everything they need to know about the business, and they can continue. And that is the benefit of partnership. So my point is that knowledge, whatever it costs you, get knowledge. Get knowledge.
Mm.
That is the I don't want to say that's the only thing, but that's the major thing you need to succeed. Because imagine we don't have knowledge about pricing. We would not have been able to
Mm.
make the adjustment we made on our pricing last year. Of course, I had to read, some of the things that even helped was one of the courses we did in an MBA, in my MBA class, you know, so we
Wow.
implemented some of those things, and the team also did a lot of research. We came together, we had series of meetings, and we're able to, change things around. And I told you that with times two price, you have to be careful in implementing whatever you hear people say. Don't just go and times two your price and think people will buy it. We have to stagger it. Some
Yes.
people, when we times two the price, some people we have to say, okay, you know what, we're going to increase for you to 25% for these few months.
Mm.
Next year you start paying at 75%. Next 2 years you start paying at 100%. So you have to. It's not just that you just say, hey, Edves times two price and they were fine. Let me go and times two my price. No. So knowledge is very important. You must make sure that your organization, your company you are building, is a knowledge-driven organization. And trust me, it starts with you. Your company, well, I can't remember how it's been said, but your company will take the shape of the leaders. A company,
Wow.
any organization takes the shape of the leaders. If the leader is very, very, if the leader is if he's a fashionista, you will see it in the organization. You will see that they will pay
Mm.
attention to light, colors, and what have you. If the founders is someone that doesn't care, just wears anything, you will see it in the business. If the founder is
Mm.
knowledgeable, you will see it in the business. So don't go and say we want to go and recruit people that are knowledgeable. You understand?
Mm.
You need to be knowledgeable yourself. And then you now surround
Wow.
yourself with people that are knowledgeable. So that when they tell you things, you'll be wondering that, what's he even saying? I don't even understand. What's this guy saying? You've
Mm.
recruited people and they can mislead you because you don't even understand what they're saying. Right?
True.
So be knowledgeable, read a lot. And that was the basis for starting Embark Entrepreneurship Academy. Because when we started, I mean, I've said it before. I've never ever had to apply for a job, right? But I think I remembered something that, okay, I did. I said I don't want to stay idle. When I finished school, before going for NYC, within that 4 months of waiting for NYC, I did an internship with the company as a web developer, right? So I did a, of course, what did they teach us in school? I mean, I did 4 years of computer science. We never use a computer in school, so
Wow.
I think during my time in the university, I had to do a certificate in web design and development. And then when I finished school, while waiting to be posted, I finished in July. While waiting to go for service in late November, I interned at the company as a web developer for 3 months, right? So you want to ensure that you keep learning, you keep learning, you keep learning. It will help you. I cannot overemphasize it. Keep learning. The best way to succeed is to, and a lot of wisdom, a lot of insight, a lot of how to not make mistakes is stored in pages of books and in pages of videos, right? So, like I said,
Yeah.
myself and my partner, we started without. It's not as if we had worked in one company for 5 years. While I was serving, we were running the company. While he was serving, we were running the company. Immediately we finished serving, we opened our office and we started. So we did not have so much work experience, work ethics, and what have you. Things changed for us when we attended our first what I call it incubation program, powered by Intel. The Intel that you have on your laptops and what have you. They partnered with CC Up, and we had to come to Lagos. We did a lot of virtual sessions, physical sessions. Things started taking shape. We started knowing that, oh, this thing that we used to do, this is what they call it. This is what they call what we are doing, because we were actually doing some of those things, but we didn't know what it was called. And they shared
Yeah.
a lot of templates for us. Oh, this is how you can track your deliverables. We learned from a lot of people, right? And then we've attended incubation program, we've been to Israel, we've been to Switzerland, so many places just to learn. Of course, most of these
Wow.
things are free, right? And that was what prompted me to say, oh, you know what? If we got a lot of things wrong when we started, but when we got into acceleration programs and incubation programs, we were able to learn a lot of things. I should also be able to start something that would help other young entrepreneurs to be able to acquire the knowledge that they need to run their business. And that's what that's Embark Entrepreneurship Academy.
Fantastic. First of all, I want to say a big thank you for, deciding to, share, your vast, because my book is full. There's so much that I'm learning, and I'm sure that all of our
Mm,
entrepreneurs here today are learning as well. So knowledge is key. I think some of the things that stood out for me is the fact that your business cannot grow beyond what you know. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, we're going to hire experienced people, knowledgeable people, but how can you actually test if these people are truly knowledgeable if you yourself as the business owner do not know what these things are? And secondly, the fact that your company takes your shape. So if you're knowledgeable, you're going to be producing knowledgeable staff as well. If
mhm.
you run your business with integrity, with honesty, you will replicate yourself basically in your staff as well. That is fantastic. And also the fact that knowledge is in books. My entrepreneurs, let's books, let's watch videos. It's amazing that we're already here and learning today, but let's keep pushing. So to my next question, Edfest now serves more than 11 African countries and the UK. And, that's a major milestone. So I wanted to ask, how were you able to expand and break into all of these new markets? And what would you say were key lessons that helped you, grow beyond, Nigeria and, break into these levels?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is make sure that the current market you're starting from, because we have people from other African countries on the call, the market you're serving, serve them well, right? Um, Yoruba people will say that I'm from the Yoruba tribe, and they will say that it is what you do at home that you take outside, right? If you are not,
Wow.
if when you are eating at home, if you don't, if you don't have table manners, it will only take a matter of time. You will eat outside and you will exhibit that lack of table manners. So my point is that the the current location you are operating at, make sure that you serve the customers well. If you serve the customers well, you can go and replicate your success. If you don't serve your customers well, don't think, because I'm in a small village, that is why I'm not serving them well. No, serve them well. Even the Bible says, who is faithful over little, much will be given unto him. So that little that you have, that two customers you have, serve them well. Because when you serve them well in the location you are, then you can go and look for the opportunity in another location. And the students in the Embark Entrepreneurship Academy, I know we have people who are not members of the academy on the call because the spotlight show is open to everyone. But the class that was done yesterday was about goal setting, right? And one thing the facilitator said was that you don't just jump into a new market, you do your research, right? Do they need my service? If they need my service, do I have to
Mm,
adapt it to that market? Do I need to change my lingua? Right? I mean, when we went to Ghana, as little as you don't say sir to to your customer in Ghana. You say, if you want to refer to a woman, you say madam. You don't say ma. In Nigeria, you say yes ma. In Ghana, you say yes madam. You only say yes ma to your mother. You don't say it to a
Mm,
customer or somebody who is not your mom. So you need to understand what are the cultural differences, right? What are the nuances? What are the economic differences? How do they want? Now we're going into the US market, and the US English is even different from British English that we're using in Nigeria. So you need to know the things that you need to adapt for that market. And but more importantly, is there an opportunity for your product? If there's an
mm,
opportunity, what changes do you need to make? And then you start small. Always start small. I have a principle, I have a philosophy. Start with what you have. Don't wait for what. So don't say, if we want to enter Kenya, we need to get an office, we need to get this. Okay. You know one but somebody in Kenya that you met on LinkedIn. Ask him, does he have somebody that needs your product? Can they use it for free for 1 month or for 2 months? Or can you give them a discount? Start small. Just make sure that number one, you've done your research, they need your product. Start small. Don't wait for what you don't have. Don't say until I travel to Kenya. It's good for you to travel to Kenya. Don't get me wrong. But if the limiting factor to starting is traveling to Kenya, get somebody who is in Kenya that can represent you by selling your product or by getting people to test the product and giving you feedback while you work your way to how to get to Kenya. And don't say because I don't have
mm,
flight money to get to Kenya. Or let me say, for instance, let me use Ghana for instance. Oh, I don't have flight money to go to Kenya to 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 Ghana. You can enter a bus or a car or whatever, go to Cotonou, spend 2 or 3 days there. Tell them about your product, get feedback. From there, you go to Togo. From Togo, you go to Ghana. My point is, don't wait for what you don't have to do what you need to do. Do your research,
mm.
start small, and grow big. Let me leave it at that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So to scale your business, basically, you have to serve your current market well. If you treat them
Mhm.
well, you can actually treat other markets and also do your research. Don't, just jump into the market. Understand the economic differences, the cultural differences, the nuances for this new, environments that you're stepping into. And most importantly, like you mentioned, ascertain if they actually do need your services. Find out if they actually need you, or just, leave it. It might not just be for you at that point in time. And
Mhm.
start small. You don't need to have it all. Just need to, start with what you have and, push. All right. Thank you so much for that. So I wanted to ask this question that, we always hear build value. If you want to grow your business, offer value to people. We always hear it is consistent,
Mhm.
but many actually struggle to make it, practical. So from your
Mm.
experience, what would you say building real value looks like? What does it look like, and how can you actually sustain that value as your business grows?
So value is relative. Value is relative, and you need to build what your customers want to buy and not what you want to buy. You are not building for
Hmm.
yourself, you are building for the customer. So don't see because I like this kind of shoe, you are building shoes. I would be building it for people. What do my customers want to wear? And that's why you should build. So value is what the customer thinks is value, right? So once you know that this is what the market wants, build it for them. So far, it is not against your values. And I'm talking about maybe you're a fashion designer and everybody wants to open their chest, and you don't, I mean, the ladies want to open their chest and you don't want to sew clothes that reveal, right? There's another set of fashion people that would not want to wear a clothes that reveals. So if it's not against your, maybe you're a Christian or you're a Muslim and they are saying it's pork meat they want, and you're a Muslim. And I mean, it's against your belief, right? So if it's not against your belief, it's not against your values, right? Know what the market wants and build it, right? And if it is against your values, there will be a minute or a segment of the populace that will want what is your value, but they might not want it the way you want it. So always remember that you are not building for yourself, you are building for your customers. So know what is value to your customers and build it for them, right? And of course, in terms of expansion as well, what is value in Nigeria might be different from what is value in South Africa. So you need to know what is value in each place and give it to them. Because sometimes, as a business owner, as a founder, you're so passionate about the thing and you are thinking about it. Oh, let's do it this way, let's do it that way. And people are saying that's
Mm.
not the way we want it. People are saying we want to come to your shop to buy, and you are saying no, just order online, we will deliver. That is not the experience your customers want. So you need to build
Mm.
what is value to them. So that, I mean, I might not be able to touch on so many instances, but more I'm saying is listen to your customers. And that's why feedback is very important. Listen to your customers. How do they want to buy? How do they want the product to function? What kind of product do they want? You are selling cake, or you are selling parfait, or what have you. Your customers say they want a touch of vanilla on it. You are saying I don't like vanilla. I mean, you are not the one paying for it, right? So give your customers what they want. They are the one that knows what is valuable to them. And trust me, people do not buy what they don't perceive is value. If they do a mistake to buy it once, trust me, they will not buy it the second time. And if you look at it very well, you realize that there's some product that you bought because you thought it was going to serve you, but immediately you realize it was not going to serve you, you go back there. But when you buy something and you love it and it's working for you, because see, we build products, we build services around, solving a problem or satisfying the want or the need of a customer. Some people might just want to feel good using your product. They just want to feel
Mm.
good. Make them feel good, you know. So if what your customers are buying is the what I mean, how your product makes them feel, then you sell that premium feel. If it's functionality they want, don't go and sell aesthetics. So just
Mm.
understand what is value to your customers. And trust me, you might have different categories of customers as well. So you need to do what we call customer segmentation. You need to understand the segment of the customers that you want. Some of them you might not be able to serve them, you dump them, and you focus on the people you can serve. So know what is valuable to your customers, drill on their value, listen to them, do a lot of customers interview, not just click, click, click. It's good to send them form, let them click. Sometimes you need to visit them or do it, understand
Mm.
what they're saying and what they're not saying.
Wow, fantastic. So you build value around what your customer actually needs, not what you want. I mean, you're not the one buying it in the first place. So build around them. Also, listen to your customers. You need to prioritize feedback, know what wants, know how they want, they choose, or they to be served, how they want the products to you know um come to them basically. And you also need to
Mhm,
identify if they actually need you to solve a problem for them, or for them they just need you to
mhm.
meet an emotional need. It
Exactly.
differs based on your different customers that you have. That's why you need to understand customer segmentation. Thank you so much for that. So, like I mentioned earlier, you spoke a lot about your faith and how your faith influenced, every of your decisions, and is part of one of the major reasons why you chose your co-founder as. So, how do you personally stay? How have your personal beliefs, rather, and faith influenced how you made decisions, how you led people, how you navigated difficult seasons? I mean, you emphasized how 2024 was such a turbulent season for you. So how has your faith influenced all of these different areas of your business, sir?
I'll say that's a very, very important aspect of things. I mean, like we see in Christian faith that life is spiritual, and things are settled in the spirit realm before you see the physical manifestation, right? So when you want to take giant steps, you want to spend time in the place of prayer, praying, making sure that God is making the way for you. And of course, I think the very most important thing is making sure that that is what God will have you do at that particular point in time, because sometimes that is what God will have you do, but he wants you to do it in January, but you want to do it in February, or he wants you to do it in December and you want to do it earlier in June, right? So it is very important to have a relationship with God the Father, because he sees tomorrow. You don't know tomorrow. You don't even know the next hour. We just make plans. Man proposes, God disposes. We just make plans. It is God that can direct and orchestrate our steps. There was a particular decision that I made since about 2 years ago that I've not executed, and I started executing that decision earlier this year. And God changed. my direction on that decision in just one conversation. Just one conversation. And I've been on the new part in the last less than 3 months. And I can tell you that I know for sure without anybody telling me that I'm on the right path. But I've spent the last 2 years planning on a different route. And God changed from a conversation. It was evident that this is what God will have you do. And it relates to the business. So it relates to the business. This is what God will have you guys do. Because myself and my co-founder, we sat down and realized that this is what we should do. Even though we have invested time in planning this one for 2 years, this is where we should go. And it's I wish I can give you the details, but it's so it's so surprising how everything is working that I can see the alignment. The alignment is just too real. Imagine you have been planning something for 2 years, you are going another route, and something that a conversation you started 6 months ago is aligning with the decision you are making 3 months after. Do you understand? So we cannot do this all by ourselves, all by your thinking. Life is spiritual. So you must have God in doing business because some people want you to fail. Oh. Some people want to fail. Some people are smiling at you. They are not happy that you are progressing. So you must have that backing. There's a song that I can't remember the name of this.
Mm.
It's a, I get backing. Oh, I
I
know they
get
work.
back,
Do you understand? You must have backing,
Yeah.
spiritual backing. You cannot do it alone. If you want to do it alone, I don't want to use some words, but you might not go far.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you need to, and I mean, you can't be playing. You can't see. You can't be one leg in and one leg out. If you are in with God, be in with God, and God will be in with you. You can't say today I'm for God, tomorrow I'm not for God. Today I want to do what God wants me to do. Tomorrow I want to do what I want to do. I mean, even if you have a friend that today it is what she wants to do that she does, tomorrow she will do what you think she should do. Would you be all out for that friend? You wouldn't be. It's the same thing with God. So there's that place of building a relationship with God where you can speak to him and say, Father, this is what I want to do. What would you have me do? And he can say, oh, go ahead, daughter, go ahead, son. And he can say, no, don't do this. And sometimes he might not say anything, but he will direct and orchestrate your steps to what he wants you to do. So it is very important because business is war. There's what we call price war in business. There's what we call blue ocean, red ocean. You know what it is for a ocean to be red? A red ocean means that is a place that is war. You are warring with competitors. And when you are warring with competitors, one small idea that the Holy Spirit can drop for you can give you the breakthrough that you need.
Mm.
But if you are relying
Wow.
on your own knowledge alone, and that's why the Bible says, "Trust in the Lord in all your ways." I mean, trust in the Lord in all your ways. So if you rely on your knowledge alone, you will achieve the results that your knowledge can achieve. But if you rely
Mm.
in the supernatural, you will be able to achieve supernatural results. I think that answers
Wow.
it.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Before I go on, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat, put it in the comment section so that we can take questions. So life is spirit. You need to have backing. And I think the most important thing, the thing that stood out for me is the fact that if you try things based on your own knowledge, I mean, we as humans, we are limited in our knowledge, would have limited results. But if we trust in the supernatural, and we're definitely going to get supernatural results. That's definitely one of my biggest take homes today. So if we have any questions, please let's put it in the chat. So whilst we wait for to coming, I have one more question. So looking back, they are some of the common mistakes that you see young entrepreneurs, especially those that are starting out, and how can they avoid them?
Don't be too fixated on how what you started with, or how you started, right? Don't say, oh, we built this product to work this way. That's the way it must work. That's the way it must keep working. You need to be open to pivoting, right? To say, oh, the market is saying something else. This is what the market wants. Build what the market wants. Like I said, value. Right. So don't be fixated on this is what we said we were going to build. We said we're going to do it this way it is going to work. My guy,
Mm,
Be flexible. You're not building for
mm.
yourself, so be open to the market. Another mistake is trying to build within the confinement of your knowledge. So you need to acquire knowledge. Acquiring knowledge is joining programs like the Embark Entrepreneurship Academy, joining all the programs as much as you can. Keep reading, keep learning, watch YouTube videos. Be ready to pay to learn. It is not everybody that will teach you for free like Embark. So you need to pay for some things, right? I mean, when I joined some classes on Embark, I'm like, this is a mini MBO. That's what I tell myself sometimes. The class of yesterday, I saw somebody today. I said that was a master class. I hope you know. The guy was like, yes, so it's a master class. I mean, in some of these classes, or let me say, in most of the classes that I joined, I learned things and I implemented it on the class. Even though I have over 20 years of business experience, I still learn from people. No man is an island of knowledge, right? So keep learning. Look for mentors. Look for mentors. The benefit of mentor is to be able to learn from their mistakes and to be able to learn what worked for them. What you are thinking will work might not work, or maybe you just need to add one to it and it will work. And they'll be able to tell you add one to it, you add it and it will work, right? And then be quick to fire, but be slow to hire.
Oh, wow.
That one,
Mm,
is still affecting us. There was a role that we are supposed to have fired the person like 1 year ago. We didn't fire the person. And so you need to understand the difference between business and your personality. Do you understand?
mm,
Oh, let's give him time. Let's give her time. If the best and one of the classes, the class that was heard last week, was talking about building a performance-driven organization. No, sorry, a sales-driven organization. And the facilitator was like, see, even if the person is your church member and you are very close, you tell the person that see in church when we sing, like that, we will worship together, we will dance together. But you see this business that we are doing, sorry, you have to go. You can't do it again. You are not giving me results. Go. But when we get to church,
mm,
you hug each other, you dance, you pray together. It doesn't stop you. There's no sin there. Do you understand? It's not a crime. The person is not you hire the person to be a customer service. The person does not pick call when the customers are calling. Maybe he's even spending time praying when he's supposed to. My pastor will say that if we are saying pray, 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 pray. Don't go and be praying when you are supposed to be working. Oh. Your boss will fire you. Or we are saying go for evangelism, go for evangelism. You are supposed to be at work between 8 to 3. You now left your work, you now went for evangelism. They will fire you. So if you are my church member and you're supposed to be doing work and you're saying, sorry, sir, I want to be doing pray for 1 hour, I'll say, okay. After 2 weeks, I'll say, please, permission to sack this person so that the person can go and be praying very well. You understand? So if you want to pray, tell me that I want to do part-time job so that I can give you part-time job so that you can pray. Wake up in the middle of the night and pray. I don't pay you to work in the middle of the night or pray early in the morning or something. So my point is
mm,
be quick to fire if the person is not doing what they're supposed to do, but be slow to hire. Take your time to because the strength of the chain is measured by the weakest point. So the strength of your
mm,
business is the weakest person in that your business, in that your team. So if that person is very weak, then your team is weak. So make sure that the weakest person in your team is stronger than the strongest person in your competitor's team. So you don't just want to
mm,
hire people because it's my brother. Church, our pastor said we should try and employ people in the church. Yes, but the pastor did not say you should employ the people that will spoil your business. It is the people that are good for your
mm,
business that you should employ. And if for any reason, that's why maybe if you cannot, some people work with their wife, they work with their brother. You understand? It's fine. If you know that this, let me put it this way: do not employ the person you can fire. If you know that this person, if I
mm,
employ him, I will not have the guts to fire him. Don't employ him. Be sending him free money or her. Because
mm,
see, it's better to be dashing somebody money than because the effect on the business is more than the salary you are paying them. Oh. What you should have
mm,
achieved, the person will slow down the growth of the business. And we cannot revive time. We cannot turn back the hands of time. If you're supposed to sell 20 products in 2025 and that guy, that lady made you to sell 12 products, there's nothing on this earth you can do that will reverse it that you will now sell 20 products in 2025. The best that will happen is you will sell 20 products in 2026. But when they are talking about the history of your company, they will say you sold 12 products in 2025. So imagine there's somebody on your team who is in production that is supposed to even produce what you're supposed to sell 20 units, and the person produced 12. There's no way you can meet up with that target again. So it's better to say, I'll be paying you free money every month because you are my brother, because you are my roommate, or because of anything. You are giving the person free money. You are only losing money. You are not losing productivity for the company. So don't
Wow.
think that it's just the money. It's not just money. So be quick to fire the person that is not doing what you are doing. I did not say that if the person make a mistake today, fire them. You give them time. There's what they call performance improvement plan. Where you give people opportunity to improve. You tell them what they need to improve. You put them on. Tell them this is what you need to work on. Blah blah blah. You can do all of that. But once you see that this person is not a good fit for the business, it's not a big deal. The law allows it. If the person, that's why they do probation. If I employ you, probation, if you don't do well, I can sack you within 2 weeks' notice, depending on the country you are in. If I make you a
Mm.
permanent staff and you don't do well, I can give you a 1 month notice and sack you, or give you in 1 month in lieu of notice, right? So it is very important. And please don't live on past glory of your team members. Somebody was doing very well in 2025, the person is no longer doing very well in 2026. Maybe the person has issues. Do meetings with the person, understand what the challenges are. Oh, okay, you prefer to work more from home than working in the office. If you have tried all of those things and it's not working, maybe the person is no longer interested in your business. Tell the person to leave.
Mm.
Please, it's very important. Your team, you cannot achieve it alone. You need to understand. And if you don't have the right team, you'll crash.
Fantastic. Wow. 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 So to, help your business, you do not have to be fixated on the same thing that you set out to do. The market can change, things can happen. Be flexible, be willing to pivot to different aspects of your business if the need permits it. Also, you cannot build within the confinements of your own knowledge. You need to grow. Remember what he mentioned earlier, your company is as strong as the knowledge that you have. The knowledge that you have is reflected in your company, is reflected in your staff. And also, my favorite one, be quick to fire. In Mr. Darius will be quick to fire. There was a lot of emphasis on that. Be quick to fire, but very, very slow to hire. Because the strength of your team is equivalent to the weakest person on the team. So do not employ anybody that you cannot, fire. If you know that, oh, this person is affiliated to me, my brother or my sister, I have some kind of, relationship with this person, and you cannot fire them. So just, don't hire them to start with. Okay, so I have a question here. It says, did your relationship or marriage or other commitments have any impact on the business? Mr. Darisa. So this is a question for you. So it says, did your relationship or marriage or any other commitment have any impact on the business?
Ah, I
Can you hear
don't,
me?
I'm not sure I perfectly, yeah, I can hear you. I'm not sure I perfectly
Okay.
understand the question, but definitely your relationships, your other commitments will have impact on the business, right? I mean, I mentioned when we
Sorry.
in when we're in Ilorin, I think 16 or 2017, thereabout. So can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, sir.
Okay, so I said thank God for my wife when we were having issues when Ilorin, we're basically living on the income of my wife as at that particular point in time. So, and if I don't have the support of my wife in doing what I'm doing, definitely I will have issues. So, the alignment at home is very important, and of course, you shouldn't have other commitments that would not give you time for the business. Business needs a lot of time, dedication, your mind, and what have you. So of course you will have other commitments, but make sure that you have one I mean, you need to just make know how to balance things, time management, work life balance, and what have you, so that you are not all working, 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 and you forget about that you have a family, and at the same time you are not spending time with the family, you forget you have a business. Do you understand? So you need to know how to balance everything. Maybe you have commitment in church.
All right. So basically, to balance things, influences or impacts from your relationships can either be positive or negative. I mean, it was positive for him. He had the support of his wife, during a very turbulent season in the business. His wife was able to step in, and support him and help out with a lot of things. And it can also be negative if you do not allow, or if you do not define, what your commitments are. If you have too many commitments, it would not be really, really good for your business. The example he gave, you cannot, as much as you have other things that you're going. Take for instance, you are a worker in church. That's a commitment, but at the same time, it cannot, you know, you cannot do so much. You have to understand that, okay, if I'm going to work in church, it means that I might work in a unit where I might not necessarily have to be present all the time, because I know that I am running a business. You understand this based off of your commitment, right? So commitment or your impact basically can be positive and can be negative. You just have to identify each of these different things. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for being here. I just want to run through some of the things that Mr. Dari had, mentioned earlier. He's currently having some network problems. If you have more questions, please put it in chat, and would respond to it when he joins in shortly. So basically, some of the things he mentioned: serve your markets. If you're trying to break in, there's this thing really in our, let's say in our generation now, we want to have that global, this business is a global business. This business is international. We want to be hearing, oh, we're not just working in Nigeria, or we're not just working in our country, in Kenya, we're not just working in the USA. We've broken into the African continent, we've broken into Asia, we've done this. We all want all of that, but there are things that we need to identify. First of all, serve your current market properly. He gave the example of, that Yoruba adage: if you can eat properly at home, it means you eat properly outside. If you're not eating properly at home, it means you take that same bad character traits, outside as well. To serve your current market well, do your research. I mean, throughout, this is one of the themes that were consistent all through the session. It was emphasizing market data, research, understand your market, understand what your customers want and what the needs are, and find a way to identify and help out. Basically, also ascertain if your business is necessary. Your business could be solving, you know doing amazing things in Nigeria. And take for instance, in Uganda, they don't need that. It is fine. There is no problem. There's something that I always like to say. You might not. You It's the same thing. You cannot be liked by everybody, quote and unquote. Really, there are some places where your business, they don't want it, and it's not because your business is bad, or you don't have strategic plans or anything like that. It might just be that that particular problem that you are solving in your own demographic, they don't have that problem over there. It's like saying you want to go to the US, for instance, to solve electricity issues. I mean, excuse you, they have 24, hours power supply. But if you say you want to fix that in Nigeria, it's a problem that we have in Nigeria, and that would be amazing. I mean, government will reach out to you, private bodies will want to partner with you, basically. Also, start small. You don't have to have all the money in the world. You don't really have to have everything arranged, because at the end of the day you might end up running at a loss. Imagine you've not done your market survey or your reviews, and say the country you're trying to break into doesn't necessarily need your service. Now you've spent money, paying for an office space, you've hired people, you've done everything. It's all just going to go to a waste, because you did not start from where you could start from. And also the places of making mistakes that could affect your business. Pricing, for instance. Pricing, but there's a balance to it. You need to know what good pricing is, what You need to know the balance between, oh, I'm pricing right. I need to increase my prices because I want my business to grow, and I'm just doing too much. Like you mentioned, don't go and 2x your prices because Edves did it. Edves had, a track record, that could allow them do that. And there was also something that they imbibed. They did it part time. It wasn't just, oh, at a go. They just, increased. So everybody, today, our price is moving from 100,000 naira to 1 million. No, for some people that they knew, some of their customers that they knew could afford it, they 2x, 100%. For some people, it was 20%, 25% and start. For some people, then they moved to 75%. And this just goes to show that there was an intentionality in building a relationship with their customers. Because if they did not build that relationship, they wouldn't have been able to ascertain who could handle, price increments and who couldn't. And now they were able to now accommodate these people into what was currently happening at the company at that point in time. Also, your business cannot grow beyond whatever level you are on. Invest, 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 invest in knowledge. You cannot just say, oh, I'm going to get experienced, staff. What is your definition of experienced staff if you yourself are not experienced, really? So invest in your education. If you remember when I was reading Mr. Dari's bio, he attends accelerator programs in, continents. He travels, he's invested in, in education, he's invested in, grooming himself and becoming better. Knowledge is very, very, very important in growing your business. And there's knowledge everywhere. I know some people might say, oh, I might not have the resources now, I might not have money to, travel around, I might not, have all of this. That is why we're blessed to have books, videos. I always say it's YouTube is is the your you can teleport anywhere through YouTube. You can learn anything. YouTube is your best friend. You can watch videos, you can watch, programs. Some of these accelerator programs, oh, you could not attend physically. Some of them will have them streamed online. Join if you can, investing knowledge. Also, do not be fixated on what you started from. The market can change, it can require you to become something else, but always put it at the back of your mind. I know it can be tricky. It might be, oh, right, it might be tricky. It might be, oh, I want to solve world hunger. I want to do this. This is the goal for my business. This is what I wanted to do with my business. This was what I had at the start. Fantastic and beautiful, but also understand that you are building a business not for you, not based on your own preferences, but based on what your customers want. Your customers, there's that saying that customers are always right. Your business is created to serve your customers. Your business is created to serve your customers. So every single thing that you are building to add value to your customers, whether to solve a problem for them or to, meet an emotional need. Some people, like Mr. Dara was mentioning, some people is aesthetics they want. If you tell them, oh, if you buy this thing, it's going to serve this or it's going to do this, they don't really care. They just want something that will look really nice. For some people, they don't care about it looking nice. They want functionality for their money. So determine to understand or to fully understand what value is determining what your customers actually need because they're the ones that you're trying to serve. So do not sell to your customers what you perceive that they will need. Sell to them what they actually need. Do your market survey, do your research, gather knowledge as much as you can, and scale your business. Basically, I also, one of the things that can keep you, that Mr. Darren mentioned, that can keep you in business when things start to get a bit turbulent, is number one, knowing where you are going. When you know where you're going, it might not be okay. All right, Mr. Darren, can you hear me now, sir?
Me from your
Hello,
hand?
sir, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you also hear me from your hand?
Yes, I can, sir. Come back, sir. So the question was
Thank
about how, the impact of relationships and commitment to how did they affect your business?
Yes, so I was mentioning that your relationships will affect your business. If I don't have peace at home, with my wife, with my children, if I don't have their support, it will definitely, tell on the business. So it's very important that the people that are very dear to you and close to you, they support you, they buy into your vision. You have you have a big task to ensure that your people, your wife, your husband, your parents, your siblings, the people that are there to you, they understand the value that you are trying to push. They understand the business you are trying to build. I mean, something funny just came to my mind. When I was going to, of course, I started the business before I got married. And when I was going to get married, my father-in-law was like, "What does he do?" My fiancé as at then was like, he has his own business. Imagine if my father-in-law did not believe in the business. He might like, he has his business. He better go and look for a job. Oh. You understand? I mean, it might
Mm.
affect his decision to say, I give you my daughter, I don't give you my daughter, right? So I'm just saying that to say the people that matter to you, they need to believe in your business. You need to be able to sell the business to them. And if you have commitment, you need to know how to manage your time, right? Of course, you would have other commitments, right? I'm very committed in church. I have different things that I do in church. So I mean, you hardly can get me on a weekend because I'm in church. I don't need midweek services for anything, right? Maybe if I have in this year, maybe I don't think I have. Maybe if I have missed it, maybe once or twice. If I can't join physically, maybe I'm out of town. I join online. So I have other commitments too as well. So you can't tell me that you want us to have a meeting and you want to fix it to my church time. I mean, it's practically almost impossible. Except and that's why I will not also go and do church activity when I'm supposed to be at work. Right. So I will also not do work when I'm supposed to be doing
Mm.
church activity. So that's why I don't, I mean, my church will not fix a program for Monday morning, 10 a.m. when I'm supposed to be at work. Right. I know some people do it,
Mm.
but I don't know what they're doing. So the idea is that know how to balance your time, right? Know how to share your time. Everybody has 24 hours, right? And you can't do beyond 24 hours, and you cannot kill yourself because there's the number of hours that you're supposed to sleep per day. So you need to know how to manage your time such that all your commitments are not affecting each other. For people who are trying to build a business and they're still in school, you need to make sure that your priority at that point in time is your school, right? So the business should not make you fail. Because yes, Facebook was a dropout. Go and read the story very well and go and check his background and go and know who his father is, and and know if you can drop out and if your father's name or your father's money can help you to succeed in business. So don't just take things the way they are and say I want to replicate it. Do you understand?
Mm.
So um make sure that no commitment at that particular point and know what is priority at what time at each time. I think that is it. That's why I said when I'm supposed to be in church, I'm not working. When I'm supposed to be working, I'm not in church. So what is priority at different days, at different time of the day, and at different phase of your life. So if you're in
Mm.
school and you're building a business, you have some people on the call that are in school and building a business, your priority is to come out excellent in what you are doing. You might not have a first class, you might not have a first class. But if you're a genius, right, you might have a first class, but who cares about your first class? It's good, right? But I mean, if your product is not working, I don't care that you have a first class. And if your product is working, I don't care if you have a third class. I've never employed anybody because they have a first class or second class or whatever. What I want is, we want to sell. Can you sell? In fact, if you can sell in English and we need somebody to sell in French, we'll go and train you how to speak French. But if you can speak French and everyone will come down, but you cannot sell, or that we can't send you to go and sell in a French speaking
Mm.
country. So what people want is what you can do. So my point is, don't go and drop out in school and don't go and fail and say, Mr. I said you don't need to have a first class, then you have a pass. Of course, except if you can't control it. But as far as it depends on you, come out with a good result. When you finish the school, you now know that your priority has changed. It's a different phase of your life. You cannot focus on the business. And if you have a job, and you are running a business, don't be running the business when you are supposed to be doing your employer's work. It is
Mm.
ungodly. Your employer is paying you to work 9 to 5, and you are doing your own business 9 to 3 and doing the employer's work 2 to 5. It's ungodly. Don't do that. It's bad. I have people. I know that some people do PP or they do side hustle. I'm not against side hustle, but don't turn my work to side hustle, and your side hustle is the work, and I'm the one
Mm.
paying you for your time.
Mm.
So you need to know what is priority. If you have to
stay up at night. If you need to, if you need to, in fact, of course, I don't expect that my staff once it's 5 o'clock will just switch off their phone. But if I know that, oh, she has something she's doing, once it's 5, she pays more attention to that thing. But if I call her if there's an emergency, she will attend. You understand? Once it's 5, focus on what your side hustle is and do it till 1 a.m. if you want and sleep 1 to 6 if that's your cup of tea. But don't turn my work that I'm paying you for, or your employer's work that you are being paid to work 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or 10 to 5, whatever time they are paying you to work. Don't turn it to the side thing and focus on your business. If you see that your business has gotten to a level where you need to put in a lot of effort into it, then drop the work and focus on the business. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. Identify what your commitments are and learn to balance it. And another thing, don't work to the side hustle and then take some, the and take your own business as the main work. Identify what you need per time. So a question came in, and that's going to be our last question for today. It said, when you were starting, was there a financial constraint when you were starting?
Like I said, don't wait for what you don't have before. I mean, we start. I say there's sometimes when I say my profile, I say we started business with zero capital. My father or my mother has never given me 1 naira to do business. Not when we started, not now. Right? Nobody gave. I told you that the first project we did for the school, what they paid us was we used to buy domain name, buy whatever, and that's how the business has been growing. Of course, we have investors now, right? So don't wait for the money you don't have. The money you have, use it. Start with what you have. Don't say, I need to hire this one. I need to buy a MacBook before I can start. Go and be using your friend's MacBook or be using your HP. If the HP, if the screen is not showing, buy external screen and connect it to it. Don't wait for what you don't have to do what you need to do. You don't need money to start business, right? But
Fantastic.
you might need money to
Yes,
scale
sir.
it. Do you understand? And don't wait to have a perfect product. The imperfect product, take it to the market. Some people will use it and give you feedback, and you keep improving on it.
Fantastic. Thank you so, so much, sir. Don't wait till you have everything, at your fingertips. Start with what you have. So this is the end of our session today. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing so much knowledge that you have poured into us today. I mean, I'm sure that everyone here has learned not a thing or two, like a million things today. You touched every single area of, business. And I'm sure that we're taking a truckload of knowledge back home. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And thank you so much, Mr. Dari, for your time being here today. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Jeffrey has a video for
Any
us, so he'll be sharing shortly. Thank you so much, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. This is where we wrap it up today. Till our next time, our next spotlight show. I hope that you're looking forward to it, and I hope that you've learned so much, so much today, because I have, and I'm looking forward to our next segment. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for taking out time to be here today, and to invest in your knowledge. So do not sit on all of these things. I know that most of us have written things. We've written things down in our notepad. We've written the things that we want to do. Do not allow them remain in your notepads. Actually start working on them. This is where we're stopping today. My name is Priscilla, and it's been an honor, hosting this show with you all present today. Thank you so much, everyone. Till our next time. Bye, everyone.